What's up, guys? Hey, so I'm going to walk you through the Roadhouse remake. I was a huge fan of the original one. And this one, man, I don't know. I think it was entertaining. I kind of liked it, but I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. And so if you haven't seen it yet, don't watch this. Watch it after you watch it because I'm going to have some spoilers in here. So there's your warning, spoilers included. Remember, guys, subscribe to this channel. Hopefully I can make this channel big. So thank you. I appreciate it. Let's get into it.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So, much like the original Roadhouse, they open up with a scene that lets you know how badass Jake Gyllenhaal, or Dalton in this show is, there's, Post Malone and this big old bald dude fighting in a bar for money. So he comes in with his hood, all sneaky, slides in, takes his shirt off, and they see who it is, and it's this guy that they're all afraid of. And Post Malone goes, I'm not fighting him, and just gives him the money. Meanwhile, this lady who has a little bar, a dive bar in Florida, who's trying to get bought out and tries to clean it up, she's looking for a better bouncer, and she was going to get Post Malone, but she sees how scared everyone is of Dalton. Of course, she wants to hire Dalton. After he gets stabbed in the parking lot and essentially walks it off, he gets his offer from her, and then he parks on railroad tracks to let you know he's got some demons, he's got some issues. Yet somehow the next day, he still makes it to Florida, no problem. But he was hit by a train. Yeah, it spun the car, and he was probably, he may have been all right. But if you guys have ever seen a train get hit by a car, they usually don't spin away. They slide into it. They fold underneath it. There's no chance. And you're trying to tell me that they wouldn't have put him on a 72-hour hold, something to kind of check his mental state. The dude just parked in front of a train. The train saw him, or he's not facing any charges for crashing, destruction of property, yet he just gets to go to Florida, no problem. Oh well, we'll overlook that. So he shows up, he's going to be the badass bouncer in this bar that has some issues, that has some rough characters. Of course, right off the bat, the biker gang shows up. It's always biker gang. So he proceeds to walk them outside and beat the hell out of all of them, take them to the hospital in their car. Yeah, he drives them to the hospital after beating the piss out of them, which, let's be real, in this day and age with iPhones and stuff, that thing would go viral. Everyone would know, hey, the guy that killed someone, the UFC champ, he's fighting again. He's he's bouncing. He just beat the crap out of 6 dudes outside of a club in Florida. But we'll overlook that once again, because you got to kind of, they treated it much like it was the 80s. We didn't have phones and didn't have content, but then they used them on other sections to draw things in. It was kind of ridiculous. After he takes these guys to the hospital, he meets the love interest, the doctor. She proceeds to take him on a Tinder date later on, and, after a bunch of different things. So they go to their little Tinder date. He cuts it short. She drops him off the dock. By the time he's walked down the dock, there's a cop waiting for him. It's the sheriff. Guess what? It's her dad. His name's Big Dick. Big Dick's pissed. So they're in the car for about 3 to 5 minutes. And all of a sudden, the daughter, who was just in the boat, drives up in her car. She drove around, parked the boat, tied it off. Never mind Dalton being a gentleman. He didn't help her put the boat away. She got her car, got over there, and saved him from arrest in that time. It was, come on, seriously, did the editors not catch that that's not, the time frame doesn't even work? Then at this point, they're kind of realizing, the bad guys are realizing, we got a problem. We got to do something about this guy. Somehow, through the use of probably cell phones or the internet, which we've pretended like doesn't exist earlier, the dad of the bad guy is in prison, calls Conor McGregor in Italy, which Conor did a great job. I mean, he was typecast. He played exactly what he kind of acts like in real life. Looked like he was pretty coked up, which is right on point, acting like a savage. So never mind the fact that this organization has all these cops on payroll, all these security guards. They still need to go get Conor out of Italy to come over to handle this guy. But in the meantime, they've had 3 separate incidents where they could have shot him legally. Just so you guys know, Florida, it's stand your ground. And when he walks up to Bob Menery, the guy that does the funny Instagram videos.
Yeah, I do. But you have a gun tucked in your waistband, so it's really not that intimidating, is it?
What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, all I have to do is break your index and your middle finger and you wouldn't be able to hold that gun. Technically, you'd be able to hold it, but you wouldn't be able to fire it.
So it's really not that big of a threat, is it?
Fuck this.
Motherfucker! Fuck you!
Bob could have shot him dead, no problem. Stand your ground, it's actually totally legal. He was well within his rights to do that. Instead, he lets Dalton disarm him and break his fingers. So once Conor shows up, first he's got to act like a madman and show how badass he is, which is pretty funny. And he's like, listen, you do it your way or I do it my way. So the kid, which is the bad guy, the head bad guy, but not the complete head bad guy because his dad is in prison, says, let me have one more shot to do it peacefully. Meanwhile, while he's over there trying to make peace with Dalton, he has his people burning a bookstore that Dalton made friends with some locals. Just so you know, that doesn't add up either. If he's trying to do it peacefully, you burn the bookstore after he says no, not during. It just doesn't make sense. Then, of course, the bad guy, after Dalton turns him down, sends Conor and the bikers in to trash the place and cause a big ruckus. Meanwhile, the band never stops. If you've ever been to a bar fight, the first thing that happens, the light goes on and the band or music stops. Well, Dalton just keeps having his drink, the music's playing while they destroy the bar, beat the crap out of everyone. At one point, random patrons just start punching their own friends. I don't understand that at all. People are climbing to the rafters. I don't know if it is Florida. Maybe there's bath salts and stuff. I don't know. It looked like a pretty shady place. So after a significant amount of time of brawling and Conor beating up all of the bouncers, hospitalizing them, which they clarify later on, Dalton comes down and faces off. And they have this big brawl and Conor kind of gets the better of him. And then Dalton just turns and walks away. He was going in there to kill him. Why on earth would he just turn his back and walk away? Wouldn't somebody just shoot him and end the whole thing? It doesn't make any sense. So then Dalton's like, I've had enough. He's got that pinnacle where I'm going to leave. So he goes to the bus stop. Then he sees the bookstore's burned, so he can't leave. Then they go into the montage about how he got his dark side, how the UFC, he was fighting for the belt. And then the Enter Sandman music plays and he loses his mind and turns into this superhuman and punches his friend who he fought one time after the bell or two times after the bell, and it kills him because he's so dangerous of a human. Yet they all throw punches in the bar for a half an hour. Nobody gets hurt. He throws two in the cage with the glove on past the bell, and yet the referee can't even stop him and somehow kills the guy. It's a really ludicrous plot. What they should have done is said he killed a guy in training and then show him actually lose his mind in training and kill someone, and then pretend like it was an accident. So he has a dark side. But they were so worried about getting that UFC footage and the fact that UFC let him in the cage and do that stuff. I understand it's quality footage, but it doesn't fit the storyline. So now he's pissed. They've burned down his friend's bookstore. That's the breaking point. So he trespasses on the bad guy's property, murders one of his security guards. That's straight murder. You can't trespass and then just kill a guy. Kills him. Not only does he kill him, this serial psychotic bastard puts him in his truck and takes him home. On the way out, there was a funny scene with the guy where he quit the biker gang. One of the best scenes in the movie. That was pretty funny. So he takes this guy, and then he finds out there's a meeting somehow the next morning with all the big guys at 5 a.m., which was weird. And they even said it because they're probably like, wait, 5 a.m., how do we work this into the script? It doesn't work. So they did, 5 a.m. Somehow, Dalton finds out where this meeting is, takes the dead body, tackles a corrupt cop, steals this trunk full of money, and pins it on the cop, supposedly. It's borderline Superman stuff. Then Big Dick shows up again and says they've kidnapped the Tinder date that he had. The love interest, remember her? Yeah, they went on the Tinder date. I don't even think they actually slept together. They may have kissed. I think they kissed. But he's going to risk everything to go to the boat with her dad, the corrupt sheriff, Big Dick. And, of course, Big Dick gets double-crossed, blah, blah, blah. It just all these explosions. And somehow they crash a boat back into the same bar. This same bar that's already kind of junky and got it trashed the night before, now they put a boat through it. And out of nowhere comes Conor McGregor in a driver's ed car. No backstory. I don't know where the driver's ed car came from. Did he murder a child? Did he kill someone? But it's kind of funny, but he pulls up in this driver's ed car. And of course, now there's the showdown. Dalton and Conor fighting to the death. And of course, it's way over dramatic. punches left, right, they're doing their thing. But weirdly, in the middle of it, the guy that's, the bad guy, the main guy, whose dad is in prison, shows up and says, kill him, about killing Dalton. For some reason, Conor snaps his neck. No reason, no actual explanation. Just does it, because, I don't know, it is what it is. And, of course, Conor's winning the fight until enter Sandman comes in, and he becomes this superhuman. All of a sudden, Dalton wins, stabs him a bunch of times, and out of nowhere, Tinder date's back. And her dad, Big Dick, and they say, we'll cover for you, you gotta go. And that's kind of the end of the story. They do tie it up the next day. Happy ending. Never mind how many people died, how much property was destroyed. A few degenerates wanted to have a drink at the bar next day. So, hey, all's good, guys. It's in Florida. We had to have some drinks on the beach. And, of course, Dalton, even though he's a psychopathic serial killer who murdered that dude in cold blood after trespassing, he becomes a good guy because he leaves the trunk of money to the kid and her dad from the bookstore. But let's not forget, this is all because some mogul wants to turn this into a resort. One piece of land and this lady won't sell her dive bar. And that's it. End of story. So with all that said, guys, I actually kind of liked it. It was funny. Is it horrible writing? Yeah. Is it lazy? Was there way too much CGI? I don't know why they insist on putting CGI in these movies. There's a couple scenes. I mean, I could have done it better just on an Xbox. But it is what it is. It's fun. Subscribe, guys, and I'll keep more content coming. Probably not many more movie reviews, though. This was just kind of an exception. I've been waiting for this for a long time. Thanks, guys. Later.